أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم فأتبعهم فرعون بجنوده فغشيهم من اليم ما غشيهم وضل فرعون قومه وما هدى. Fir'aun is running behind Musa and his people. Gains information فأتبعوه مشرقين. He hears and he's given information that Musa and his people have escaped. Early morning, he sets up with a huge army. Sets up with a huge army to bring, go and capture the Banu Israel. This huge army, he leaves and he catches up to the Bani Israel. Is at this time, Bani Israel became very frightened, and once again they say to Musa, Musa, what's happening here? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Musa remembered that he had to put the staff onto the sea. 12 pathways were created, and the Bani Israel evolved. The ocean now becomes sand for them to walk on, or a road for them to walk on. And they're walking on this road. Fir'aun reaches now. And this is what the Quran mentions regarding him. فَأَتْبَعَهُ فِرْعَوْنَ بِجُنُودِهِ فَغَشِيَهُم مِّنَ الْيَمِّ مَا غَشِيَهُم. So Fir'aun, he chased them with his troops. Chased them with his troops. So he gets there, and seeing how the sea has parted from Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and his people, he starts now to boast. And he starts to tell his army that look at what has happened. انظروا إلى البحر, look at the sea. Look at how it's parted for me. Look at how I'm controlling this. And then he basically orders the entire army to enter into the sea. And all of them entered into the sea. And he mentioned that at this point, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam was so by Allah, Musa alayhi salatu wasalam had actually intended to once again hit the stop. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala commanded Musa to utruk al-bahr wa the entire army is going to be drowned. Remember yesterday we said, and there's sometimes we don't understand, we our minds cannot understand the wisdom of Allah. So only afterwards when something an event takes place, then we realize that, oh, that's what. So remember that the entire army followed Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and his people. Now, at this point, when they came close to the Bani Israel were very frightened. But little did they understand at the time what was the wisdom of Allah in gathering or making Pharaoh gather such a large and a huge army. All of them, all this entire army, right? The thousands of them were there. And Pharaoh goes in and he walks into the ocean. And he gets into the ocean. What happens? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَغَشِيَهُم مِّنَ الْيَمِّ مَا غَشِيَهُم. The way the Quran expresses this incident unfolding, Allah says, the translation of this is that so covered they were by that which covered them in the sea. So covered they were. Allah showing the enormity of the incident. There wasn't just one or two waves. فَغَشِيَهُم مِّنَ الْيَمِّ مَا غَشِيَهُم. They were just covered. Totally covered. The sea came and engulfed all of them. And all of them now, they drowned. It was at this time that the tyrant, the one who called himself God, the one who called himself Allah and said that I'm the real, I'm the Lord. I don't think there's any Lord, there's no Lord besides me. At this time, he now becomes frightened. حتى إذا أدركه الغرق قال آمنت أنه لا إله إلا الذي آمنت به بنو إسرائيل وأنا من المسلمين. Now when he started to drown, he started to say, آمنت, I believe. I believe there's no brother worship. He says, the one upon whom the Bani Israel brought faith. And I'm from the believers. and from the thieves. But human beings are given a chance. As humans, we are all given chances. But that chance also has an expiry date. And that expiry date or expiry moment is when Malik Yagharahid, when you reach what we call the throes of death, those final moments. When you start seeing the unseen, you start seeing the angel, and you start, a lot of protectors seeing scenes of Jahannam. When you start seeing those scenes, now it is too late. Because you're not bringing, you see one of the fundamentals is, we say, الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ. You bring faith on the unseen, what we don't know, but because the Prophet has told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, once Anbiya have told us, that's it, we believe it. So when you start seeing the unseen, it is no longer faith in the unseen. So hence, at that time, your iman is what we accept. It's simply from the signs, we learn from the signs of Qiyamah that when the sun rises from the west, at that time now, no longer a person's iman will be accepted. And similarly, a person on their individual basis, when they reach the throes of death and now they start to see the unseen, now your iman is not accepted. So this is what happened to Pharaoh. And this time he comes, and this time he's seeing he's seeing the angel of death. He's seeing the events unfold in front of him, and now he's saying, Amantu, I believe. No, Pharaoh, no. No, قد عصيت قبل وكنت من المفسدين. Now you're saying you've accepted. You gave me so many chances. Yesterday we discussed this. That each time, and this is the amazing thing. He knew that he's not Lord. Right? You can fool everyone, but you can't fool yourself. He knew that he's not Lord. He is always going to Musa والسلام, each time there was a trial, and say, Musa, pray that this fitna and this trial that we are in is lifted. And each time Musa والسلام, would pray, Allah would take the punishment away, and then once again he would go and be involved in his wilderness oppression. But no, it's too late. Quran mentions إذا أطغى القرآن mentions حتى إذا حضر أحدهم الموت قال إني تبت الآن وليس التوبة للذين يعملون السيئات حتى إذا حضرهم الموت قال إني تبت الآن. At that time, your iman is lost. So Musa alayhi salatu wasalam and his entire town, nation, they're walking and they're looking back. They're seeing that Pharaoh and his army fall drunk. But Israel are just in law. And they're still not believing, or they don't want to believe that this tyrant has now died. Allah has called them to them. That's the end. And they start saying amongst themselves, Musa, we don't believe he is drunk. We've seen him in his so-called supernatural powers, and sometimes see that he doesn't eat, and because he used to display to them or behave like he's a god. And remember, that's what happens when you're subjected to one and oppression for a long time. Then after that, you can't come along with it. It's not easy for us to come along with it. So here behind this, and that's what we talk about mental slavery. So for so many years, they've been subjected to the harshest of conditions and torture, punishment by this man. And now, when they see that the ocean envelopes him and drags him to the bottom, they still don't want to believe. They're unable to believe or accept that, yes, he's been destroyed. So they start telling themselves, we don't think he's dead yet. We don't think he's dead yet. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then what does Allah do? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then calls the ocean, take his body, bring it up. Thus they realize, that they realize, yes indeed, Allah mentions in the Quran, فَالْيَوْمَ نُنَجِّيكَ بِبَدَنِكَ لِتَكُونَ مِنْ خَلْقِكَ آيَةً. His body was preserved, so that individuals will know that if you behave like this, and you think you're God and you're supreme, remember, There's only one of them. And the day is going to come, and you, in spite of everything you have, will be destroyed. We read 2 days ago, فانطلقوا من جنات وعيون وزروع ومقام كريم ونعمة كانوا فيها فاكهين كذلك وأورثناها قوم آخرين فما بكت عليهم السماء والأرض وما كانوا. There was no wonder crying over him. And look at how many of the palaces and the gardens and the streams and the big houses, all of these things a person lived in. Well, so look at how much they left behind. When the punishment came, all that they had at their disposal, all the luxuries they had, everything he left behind. And what is interesting, as Mullah Hassan Ali Dawi rahimahullah, Shaykh Hassan Ali Dawi rahmatullahi alayhi says this so beautifully. Say, مات الجبار الذي قتل قلوب من الأطفال والرجال ذبحا مفتنا. مات الطاغية الذي قتل ألوف آلاف صبا وشرقا. مات ملك مصر بعيدا عن عرشه بعيدا عن قصره بعيدا من سلطانه لا طبيب يداويه ولا صديق يواسيه ولا عين تبكيه. This man who was a tyrant, he dies. He dies here, far away from Egypt, far away from his palaces, far away from the comforts and the luxuries that he used to enjoy and he used to boast about. Now there is no tabib, yudawihi, to come and help him and give him care. There is no friend that he can lean upon and give him some advice or make things easy for him. There's no one. There's no one at this moment, not even an eye that will shed tears of grief and this manner, their own efforts. And that's why that those verses are verses for us to reflect upon as well. They're verses for us to reflect upon that the same way Fir'aun had to go and leave everything behind, the time is going to come that we'll have to leave everything behind as well. So yes, we live in this world that you earn. Remember, the God in the world will not answer the for you. Whatever prayer that you build, someone else is going to take it. Someone else is going to take it. So don't become like Fir'aun and be rude and arrogant and be boastful. Be like Abdul Rahman bin Awf. Be like Israel bin Awam. Be like Affan bin Affan. Be like Abu Sufyan. Allah Ta'ala understands that. Time is gone. So inshallah now we're going to look at the next part now. Bani Israel not escape the Fir'aun. They are not walking in the desert. No walking. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to promise Musa alayhi salatu wasalam, he's going to give them the Torah. Because for human beings to progress, there has to be divine inspiration. Human beings to know how to live, there has to be divine inspiration. So Musa alayhi salatu wasalam is not going to be promised to give the Torah. Along with that, Allah is going to remind the Bani Israel and subsequently all of us of the favor that He bestowed upon them and how to are grateful to it. And so inshallah we will cover that inshallah tomorrow's gathering. Let us not be like Fir'aun and the tyrants, but rather be humble in everything we do. Humility, inshallah, hopefully I'm going to touch on that on one of the after sessions. The evils of pride. It's pride it's the person and destroys the person in the form like this. The evil traits before the time. Wa alaikum salam.